Today we're going to talk about planning your summer in reverse.
Let's really have a good summer.
Leave a little space for the unexpected.
I think that might be the theme for this summer.
Welcome to the Plan With Us podcast. We just got on to record our episode and just started chatting away about all things summer, all things current events in our lives. And we need to actually start recording the podcast. So hi, guys. How's it going? I'm Jessica Raney, your co-host of the Plan With Us podcast. And I'm here with the lovely
Niara Gore, the one and only. Hey, cutie pies. I'm excited to get into today's topic because my girl is the queen of summer. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. The season is upon us, even though it is cold and raining when we are recording this episode. We kind of missed out on the April showers, bring May flowers this year. It kind of reversed on us.
I feel like it was literally so warm in April. Like, I thought summer was hitting. I thought we were about to have the heat and, I thought I was about to bust out a tank top or two. But no, it got cold quickly. It humbled us, We have to be preparing for summer, not jumping right in,
Yes, we need to plan accordingly. But there were a couple 80-degree days in May where we were like, summer's here, get excited, because this is my time of year. This is when all my favorite things happen.
Come on, this season was made for you.
We did go to the beach this past weekend as a little celebration because...
What's the tea, girl? What's the tea?
The tea is you're looking at a homeowner. Celebration. I now own the home that I'm sitting in. That's the most beautiful part, is I don't need to move. Me and my husband have lived in this house for 6 years. We moved in here when we were dating. We lived here while we got engaged. We lived here for the first 3 years of our marriage, which we also just had our 3rd wedding anniversary. Yeah, we bought it. And I say that like it's like, oh, no big deal. This has been in the works a long time. I've mentioned it here and there on the pod, but we've actually been actively going through the process since January. So the fact that every last paper is signed, sealed, delivered, it's done.
Owning a home in this economy is a big adult step. Everybody is so proud of y'all. You guys did the damn thing. And I love that, you didn't have to have all this commotion of packing the house up and moving it. And you're still at a good distance from LBI, which is your spot. You guys can still get there. You guys are still close to the family. You guys can still get to work and things like that. You didn't have to uproot your life to make this decision. So I just congratulate you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I keep emphasizing to my husband, I'm like, I don't think you realize how big of a feat this is, because especially once you start going into the first time home buying process, all the secrets come out of the woodwork of how people afford their homes and, make things happen. And we genuinely did it all on our own. And it was a private sale too, so we didn't have a realtor, which made it very different from the usual process. So someday in the future, when we do move out of this home, we're planning on being here for, well into 5-10 years from now. I do envision us still being in this home. But when we do eventually move to another home and we work with a realtor, I feel like that'll be a whole new experience, because a lot of people that know us well, close personally, had no idea we were buying this house. They're like, I know you guys have mentioned it, but once I officially announced, hey, it's ours, we bought it, they're like, oh, good for you guys. I'm so glad that it worked out, because it's kind of rare for the situation to work out in the way that it unfolded for us. So we're very fortunate, but we also worked very hard. So I'm trying to make sure I'm giving myself my kudos and not underplay it,
Exactly. And make sure you put it in your proud of me jar, because that's a big thing.
That is a big one. Yeah, I got to put that in my proud of me jar for sure.
That's one of the goals you could literally check right off of your list.
Oh, that's a big check. That's a big check mark right there, because that was pretty much other than, feeling my best physically and mentally, which has been my number one goal for the year. This is pretty much number two, was buy this house and, everything associated with that. So I'm feeling very accomplished in that sense. And then I do feel like being a new homeowner is going to dictate a lot of my summertime activities. There may not be as many like getaways and things like that. Like obviously we just had one this past weekend. We're planning on enjoying our mortgage, We're going to be sat this summer. So we got to make the most of it. The little joys and things like that.
I feel like now with your summer, you can just start really getting into all the things that you wanted to, which is like a little bit of makeover at the house and hosting, like all this fun stuff, because the house is yours. So I'm excited to hear what, summer plans you might have now that the house is secured.
Oh, yes, girl. Yes. Breathe a little breath of relief. And yeah, I definitely want to get into the nitty gritty. Maybe have my girl over and show her all the things that I'm up to, Do you have any fun life updates? How's it going with my girl? I know we were sort of discussing right before we started recording.
Yeah, so this summer, I'm just realizing for myself, just with my life and stuff, that health is wealth, and we are taking care of ourselves this summer. We have, I wouldn't even say it's like really like a health scare or anything like that. I don't want to put any labels on it. I really don't know what's going on with it, but your girl is going to have a big girl surgery this summer. So we're going to see what that's about. But right now, we're just taking care of our body to get to that moment. Aside from that, I have been implementing being active and changing my diet rapidly, and I've been losing weight, but also getting my body toned and stronger. Have you heard of the kettlebell challenge that's been all over the internet?
I have. I actually wanted to try it out. So have you been doing it? Because I'm curious.
I have. I started on the 7th. And I think I just missed one day of it. But every time I miss a day, I double down on the next day. But it's 100 reps of a kettlebell swing a day. And I'll say this, I'm a weakling. I can't pick up anything unless I put my mind to it. Then of course I can move the couch across the room. But that's neither here nor there. But when I started out the kettlebell challenge, I was literally doing 10 pounds, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to work myself up. But after 2 weeks, I'm up to 15 pounds, and then so by 2 weeks, I can be up to 25. So I'm getting stronger and stronger by the week, and based on how I've been doing it, I've lost 3 pounds per week, which is really amazing.
That is incredible. That's a lot of progress right there.
Right?
And I would definitely say working up slowly is the wisest thing to do. So I'm glad that you're being safe and you aren't straining yourself too much, but you're still being able to see some results that you're excited about.
Yes, and even walking around today, I was cracking up because I don't usually ever wear belts unless it's for fashion. But I was walking around and my jeans were falling down. I was like, goodness, she's skinny. They were literally trailing on the ground, and I was like holding groceries and pulling my pants up. I was like, I have never had to do this. So now I'm just excited to see like maybe I have some old clothes that I can try to get back into. Like, I don't know. She about to have a hot bod this summer.
She's just disappearing before our eyes. Just
turn to the side. She's invisible.
Where is she?
Where is she? What?
I love that for you. I love that you're feeling good in your body. We're going to continue on the journey. Yeah, I'm super excited. I know I've also been sort of going through a health trying to lose some weight journey. And I feel like every year when you pull on the shorts or pull on the bathing suit, it's like a dreaded moment. And this was like one of the first years where I put on my shorts and I'm like, they fit. In fact, they might have a little bit of room in there, Like, I'm like, oh, we're comfy. We're comfier than we were last year in these shorts. So it's good to see that progress. And I feel like being in our early 30s, as we are, just, young little babes, now's a really good time to start establishing some of those habits, which I feel like is a natural sort of progression with people our age. You start having more aches and pains and focusing on your health for the long term. But today, we wanted to talk about planning the summer in general. Like I was sort of saying, this summer might look a little bit different for us than summers in the past because we have big girl responsibilities. We have big girl things going on. We also still have goals to hit. But I also feel like summer is the time where you need to treat yourself a little bit in the form of enjoying the beautiful weather, enjoying the spirit of adventure that everyone sort of just has going on. Like, you don't want to have any FOMO. You don't want to feel like burnt out by overscheduling yourself with too much work and not enough play. You don't want to, say yes to absolutely everything, though, because then you don't leave enough room for the things that you need to do, like still sort of maintain some sort of semblance of a schedule, a routine. So today we're going to talk about planning your summer in reverse. So sort of starting with how you want to feel at the end of the year, and not the end of the year, how you want to feel at the end of the season, and sort of going from there in terms of the steps you can do to make that happen.
I'm excited to get into this because I've never thought of planning a season in this way. I understand like going from the big goal and breaking it down like tangibly, how we talked about before in previous episodes, but this feels like a whole new method of planning the summer. And I'm really excited just to dive in. This sounds so interesting. When I read through the little outline, I was like, oh, this might spark something new in me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it is very similar to the eating the elephant method that we've discussed many times, but sort of like a different spin on it. Just thinking about your goal as a whole, the goal would be, well, what's the vibe I want to give this summer? How do I want to feel come, Labor Day? Do I want to feel fulfilled? Do I want to feel excited? Do I want to feel really proud of myself for getting things accomplished? Do I want to feel relaxed because I've had a real season of busyness? And then sort of building off of that as we go along. And I also have a note in here that I think is really funny in terms of think of this as a realistic girl's guide to the aesthetic summer without quitting your day job. Because those responsibilities don't go away in the summer, unfortunately.
They don't. And then we see all of these fabulous people online just going on trips and on boats and all this stuff. I'm like, when are you working? Because I have to go to work every day. And I can't just stop going to work so I can enjoy this time. Or just like, how do I fit it all in? You know?
They got the right team behind them or something, because they're jet setting off on a yacht in Italy. They're going to Hawaii. They're going here, there, and everywhere. And I'm just like, I would just really like to paint my kitchen this summer. That's a big goal for me right there. Maybe see the ocean a couple times because I can. Maybe get some coffee with friends, host a couple cute little dinner nights. The goals don't need to be lofty here, but I think thinking about the result, the feeling that we're going to get from those things is going to be big motivation to help us get it done.
I love it. I love it. Girl, let's get into it. Let's get into it, girl.
Let's get into it. So, the summer's planning mistake that we all make, and I fall victim to this. It's very, very common. What are your plans this summer? Oh, we'll see what happens. We'll see where the wind takes us. And I feel like this always leads me to feeling a summer slump. Very much like the time goes by, because it's going to pass, regardless of whether you're doing things or not. And then you reach into the summer and you're like, what the heck did I do? I feel like I've done this sort of planning process for my summers without even sort of realizing it until I started like writing all this down. I'm always thinking about how I want to feel after the moment's over. That's sort of like my encouragement to get things done. But then I also sort of fall victim to overbooking myself in those times because I have such a deep FOMO of like, well, I got to get this done. I got to do that. But I'd really like to participate in A, B, and C thing. And the next thing I know, like every weekend throughout the whole summer is booked, and then it flies by even quicker. And I can't remember a single thing I did. Do you relate to that
Mm.
at all?
So I feel like I've always had a disconnect with summer, and I'm trying to. I mean, disconnect with summer as an adult, like because I'm always working. So I never felt like I have the freedom to do anything. I just felt like summer is just another season. It just so happens to be hot outside. But I love the thought process of at by Labor Day, the beginning of September, I want to feel fulfilled in my relationships. I want to feel content and excited. So I will do these things instead of being like, I want to do this and I should do this and I should do this so I can get this feeling. And I feel like that kind of flips it on its head and makes you think like, oh, like after you have finished each of these things, does it give you that feeling that you wanted? So it makes you more intentional with things that you're planning, which I really love because I think that when the summer comes around, I often do just wait. Like maybe I'll get invited to this, and if I do, maybe I'll go. Or if we have time, maybe we'll go here. Or if we have money, maybe we'll do this. And I feel like that makes me stuck because then I'm just waiting around for something to happen, and if it doesn't happen, then I'm disappointed. Then I have FOMO. Then I feel like this is why I don't even care about summer. But like, no, like let me intentionally put some things on the calendar that I know will bring me joy, and then yeah, see what happens around it. And by the end of the summer, I could be like, well, at least I know I did this one trip because I planned that I knew I wanted to go here, or I tried out this one restaurant that I knew I really wanted to go, or yeah, I had a dinner with my friend and made sure I made time for her and things like that. So yeah, summer has always been weird because I think we also don't realize the sudden shift of being a student and having your summers free and truly feeling the no restraints of having a job and school and things, and then all of a sudden having a job and you're working all the time, and that transition is so instant, and it's hard to understand the how to transition into that in an easier way to where it feels natural and still feels like you have that time and that fun and that freedom. But I do feel like you do it very well, I will say.
Oh, I thank you. Yeah, it's funny how we have been out of school for how long now? And it's still ingrained in our brain that like school's out for summer. Like, I feel like that's something that I don't know. Maybe I need to ask some people who are a little older than me if that's something that like ever really goes away. But I feel like in general, the feeling in the air in the summertime is like, oh, it's time to make the most of this time before it gets dark and gloomy and wintry again. And I know people are like, oh, I'm a summer person. I'm a winter person. Clearly, I'm very much a summer person, which is why I really love to make the most of this time. But you could sort of apply this general tip to like any sort of season. You could apply it to the holidays as well, because I feel like that's another season that people really love that sort of flies by in a flash. Um, but I think thinking about the end result versus the potential of what could happen brings a lot of clarity to, how you really want to prioritize your time. It's like when you flip a coin to find out the result, and then as soon as the coin is in the air, you realize what you actually want.
Yes, I understand that. Um, I guess that could also be the other way too, as to where if you commit to too many things because you're trying to fill the calendar with so much because you want to do so many things, and then you feel overwhelmed and overstimulated by the time the season's over, then you're just exhausted. Has that happened to you?
I'm very, very much prone to falling for that and for being sort of reactive in my plans instead of proactive. Um, I definitely fall into the I'm not leaving any weekends, just for me to chill and like recoup. Um, I want to see everyone and I want to do everything. And then, yeah, I just feel overstimulated and not relaxed at the end of the summer and then sort of barreling right into the next thing. You definitely need to have that cadence of, yeah, I want to get things done, but at the same time, exactly how do I want to feel at the end of the summer? Maybe I want to feel fulfilled, but I also want to feel rested, you know? Um, so yeah, maybe we can sort of talk about some of the feelings that we want to have at the end of the summer. like with our specific goals, because I know we mentioned the things that we have going on in our lives, and we've already mentioned a couple of the feelings and things that we do want to do and have to do this summer. Not even thinking of like anything in particular, like not even thinking about like how I'm going to achieve those things. The overall feeling I'd like to feel is fulfilled. I'd like to feel connected. I'd like to feel content. Trying to think of things other than just like adventurous, like I don't know. I think I'd like to feel very grounded by the time the summer season is past, which is very different for me than usual.
How do you think you tried to feel in the past? Like spontaneous?
Previous me would have been like adventurous, enriched, jam-packed, eventful, and this summer me wants to feel grounded, connected, appreciative. I'm trying to think of some other words that I said. I think maybe I should stick with those three.
I do think that I want to feel adventurous because I'm usually not.
Okay, we're flipping
My
everything on its head this summer.
I know what is going on. Because my husband and I have talked about doing things that maybe we've never done before, but just to have a new feeling, a spark of inspiration and fun that we don't usually have during the summertime. Um, I too want to feel connected. I feel like I often distance myself from people very much, so intentionally connecting with people. I was going to say happiness, but I don't want it to be like, oh, I got to be happy all summer because that's not true. Um, I think I do want to feel a sense of joy. I do want to have a good time and feel content with my summer. Whether I am going someplace or I'm staying home, I want to feel very like joyful in this time. Um, and yeah, I think those are my three. So all of those, each of those feelings are connected to specific things that I know will happen this summer, um, or things that I know that I want to happen as we go into the plan. But those are the feelings that I am holding on to and hoping to experience by the end of the summer.
I think it's funny how we sort of just like took a really big pause to think of the exact words to articulate how we want to feel. Because like as we're sort of actively going through this, I was like, oh yeah, I can think of some words off the top of my head. And then I'm like, actually, how do I, if I genuinely sit down, how do I really want to feel? Like exactly how you chose to say joyful over happy. Because you were like, that's a different sensation. Like, yes, I could feel happy all summer. Woo! Like, we're so excited. We're doing this, that, and the other thing. But you're like, no, I want to feel like deeper. I want to feel like very joyful in what I'm doing. And yeah, I just think it's really interesting. And the words might change sort of as we continue to go along. But yeah, I don't think we have to be too precious with it. We can sort of change it up. But
Right.
actually sitting down and being like, genuinely, how do I want to feel? Let's get real serious with ourselves is harder than you think.
And I think that that's probably why this method is so unique in changing your mind frame and how you think about approaching this season because immediately, yeah, so I think, well, I know I want to do this and I want to do this and this will be fun. Let's do this. But I'm like, how do I want to feel at the end of those things? So I had to sit and think about the things that I know I want to do this summer, but what feeling do I want to get from them? And that takes a little bit more time than just saying that, I want to go to the beach or I want to have a cookout or something. It's deeper than that because why are we doing these things? What is the purpose of us doing it? Just to say that we did it for a highlight reel for show, or is it really to just feel that goodness of these activities this summer? Like, let's really have a good summer, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love that. I think that is 100% the energy that we're trying to bring into this practice. So once we have our feeling, I think we need to think about our non-negotiables in the sense of things that we know are going to happen this summer that we cannot avoid, and we sort of need to work what we want to do around what we have to do. We are big girls. We do have to go to work. We do have to clock in, unfortunately. No, we're very happy in what we do.
Yes.
But that is something that we can't just play all summer long. I know you were saying that you have some health things that you're going to need to focus on in a specific time of the summer. I know I have some things with what I want to work on over with the house. You know, obviously that could be shifted to like a different time, but I sort of feel like it's non-negotiable in my mind because it's something that has sort of just happened, and because I want to turn over this new leaf of like making this feel like a new era in this home. I'm like, all right, now's the time. It's a non-negotiable for me that I want to change things up in the home, do some painting, do some swapping of furniture, do some refresh sort of work. I'm trying to think of anything else that is a non-negotiable. I have some events happening this summer for friends and family that, you know, people are getting married, people are having babies. I already got them clocked in my calendar, you know.
Very nice.
Take time to celebrate the people.
Yeah. Have to go to work. You know, that's life.
Shrug. I guess I have to.
I guess I'll go. I have my yearly work trip that I go to every year. So my whole summer always is around that. I have to go. It's a big part of my life. And there's some work I have to get done prior, like scheduling, planning my classes and getting my curriculum together. So aside from my 9 to 5, there's my 5 to 9 that is very important. That has to get done. Non-negotiables. I don't have any other like pressing events that I can think of right now. There's some things up in the air. So my husband and I are kind of at a standstill with some things that we may potentially do. We're waiting to hear some news and things like that. So we have to hear those things. But once we do, some things will be in the works. Um, and yes, my health more so. So still making sure, even though I want to have a good time and maybe have like a little treat or a little drink or a little fun, I gotta stay uh, consistent on my diet, my workout plan, and I'm trying to get to a certain uh, weight by a certain time. So I have like I'm planned out, you know. So that's really a part of my summer as well.
I'm hearing you're focused on health, you're focused on work, but you're also focused on some play, dabbling in there. And I think that sounds like a lovely little balance. Because you don't want to, you know, lean too far one way or the other.
Right,
And I
right.
think we're really trying to embrace that.
Right. And I usually like it's only about work, and I'm really trying to find that balance. And I think that thinking about summer in this way can help bring that balance to my life. Because as you guys have heard, almost every episode, I'm constantly figuring out the balance of life. I'm a work heavy girly. My career is important to me. I love my job. But as I get older, I just am trying to enjoy this life that I have. Um, I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live. So that's really the shift that we are focusing on this year. And that will definitely be implemented this summer.
Yes. Yes. I think for me, as I'm thinking about what I just talked about, work is a big one for me. Home is a big one for me. And then celebrating others is a big one for me, or celebrating with others as well. I think those are things that I'd really love to establish. I love how I'm sort of like, here's my 3 words, here's my 3 actions. Like, now let me like implement them into my calendar. That is not intentional. That just sort of like what feels right to me.
No, it's working through this mindset, this plan, because we could easily come on here and list all the activities and specifics and things that we want to do this summer. But we're being intentional. And I think that's what's really important. And that's what we want our listeners or our viewers to also think about. And this could apply, like you said, to if maybe this doesn't apply to your summer right now, this could apply to your fall when you have fall activities. This could apply to your holiday activities. Like, it's just really being intentional about that season, not overwhelming your mind or your spirit, and keeping yourself open to like possibilities, but understanding how to still be content in it. So I love that. We got to take it slow. Like, we're processing it, and I love that.
Yes. And I think once you sort of do the work to take it slow and to really work out how you want to feel and what you have to do, that's when you can sprinkle in the fun things, you know? Or if you are someone who constantly feels like you have every weekend booked, maybe this is the time where you sprinkle in, okay, I know what I want to do and how do I want to feel? When am I taking time to rest and being intentional about that? And like, now's the time where you sort of open your planner and you look at, when the events that are set in stone are happening, when would be a good time to sort of take advantage of some more free time to fulfill some of those goal words. Maybe you have specific things in mind, like going on a trip, having a little dinner party with friends. Maybe you have specific places that you want to go for, like physical goals you want to achieve. Like I'm thinking of like going on a specific hike, or like maybe there's a specific like athletic event you want to participate in. My mom was talking to me about a yoga little retreat that she wants to go on with me together. Yeah. So that will
Mama
be in
P.
the books this summer. Yes. I actually need to catch up with her on that and like actually find out the actual date. So that could be a fun little event that gets dabbled in there. And just, getting all that stuff in the books, but still leaving time for the unexpected,
Yes. Isn't that what summer is all about?
Truly. Just like leave a little space. Leave a little space for the unexpected. Go out and get
Yeah.
ice cream on a weeknight, Do something fun. Get that childlike wonder, what we say every episode. Bring it back.
Bring back that childlike wonder. I think that might be the theme for this summer. Like, in all honesty, it's just being like, it's summertime. Let's bring back that feeling of like, oh, there's possibility, but let's understand what that possibility means for me now as an adult. But yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's Jess checking in mid-episode. I hope you're enjoying this week's topic just as much as we are enjoying chatting about it. Right now would be a really great time to take a little break, get a drink of water, and to follow Plan With Us podcast on all of our platforms. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get a notification every time a new episode goes live. You can also get exclusive content, updates, and clips from our favorite moments over on Instagram. You can find us on both of those platforms at Plan With Us Pod. Leaving a review on your favorite podcast listening platform is also a great way to show us support. We appreciate every single review that is left, and we appreciate every single one of you. So without further ado, let's jump back into the episode. Let's think about some things that we would want to do, or we could do, that don't necessarily need to go on our calendars right now, but opportunities that we could sort of leave space for that would fulfill that feeling that we want to have at the end of the summer. So like, oh, she's pulling out the pen, people. She's pulling out the pen. She's writing her notes.
I don't want to forget anything.
So thinking about my words, I should have written my words down already. Grounded, connected, fulfilled. Are those my words? I'm going to pull out my little notes app. Grounded, connected, fulfilled. Guys, we're planning in real time again. It's like this is the Plan With Us podcast or something. How does this keep happening?
It's like we plan things on here. Like, what is going on?
Wow.
All right. So why don't you start with your first word and
Grounded.
break out some activities or events or things that are connected to that specifically.
Okay, so I think the yoga retreat I mentioned could really help me feel grounded. I think working in my garden can make me feel grounded. Just being in nature, going on a hike or a long bike ride. There is a really beautiful trail that is near my house that connects Philadelphia to Valley Forge that I've talked to my brother multiple times about, like, going on a really long bike ride on that trail. Maybe that's something that I want to do.
Mm.
When I think of feeling grounded, I think of really focusing on my health. I think of focusing on my mental well-being as well as my physical. Maybe trying some new healthy recipes. Going to the beach, of course. I feel like seeing the ocean
Duh.
always makes me feel grounded. So that's like an obvious one. I always go on multiple day trips. I'm like a old Victorian woman where seeing the seashore may cure me. I've seen that meme many times.
Yes.
All right. So that's how many? 1, 2. I have 5 things there. I feel good about that. Do you want to start with your first word and we'll sort of bounce back and forth?
Yes. Let me see. So I tried to write some stuff down. So my first was, I think I said it backwards, but joyful was one of my words. So I said outside walks, specifically where I live. I can walk to the town that I live near that has a lot of cute activities and fun things going on. Um, but I get so much joy just like walking through the neighborhood, walking into town. And I think last summer I really neglected that, so I will be bringing them back this summer. Um, Opting to eat outside, which may sound silly, but when you go to like a restaurant or a cafe, we're often indoors way too much. So it's like, no, I'll sit outside and enjoy this lunch or my coffee chat with my girl and things like that.
Well, that's also
Um,
something that's exclusive to this season.
yes,
Something you
exactly.
can only do now. So do it, girl.
Yes. Um, what else do I have? This is a little silly one, but getting ice cream specifically from the ice cream man. When you hear that jingle, you you know it's summertime, okay?
You catch that ice
And
cream man. You catch him.
that's a little childlike wonder, like you know what I mean? Like hearing the ice cream man come through town, like there's something so fun about that. Um, and then my another one I had was um, updating the summer wardrobe. That's something that brings me joy and excitement. And then my last one that kind of flows into my next word, but it's spending time with loved ones. But I feel like that brings me joy and also makes me feel connected. So, all right.
I love
What's
that.
your thanks?
Well, I just stole a couple of yours because I was also jotting stuff down, thinking of my next word as I was listening to your word. But I love this little list that's being put together. It's really creating the vibe that I want. The vision's coming together. My next word is connected. And the first one I wrote down was hosting a dinner with friends, which I feel like just in general, feeling really connected to the area that I live in since I just bought this house. And I'm just like, this is my home. I want to appreciate it. What's in my own backyard. And I want to connect with pals face to face, which I feel like is getting more and more difficult to do. So I want to make intentional time to do it. Next one, visiting a cute local town, which sort of piggybacks off of your walking into, a town. Maybe explore a new place nearby that I've never really checked out before. Like, I learned about a new coffee shop today that was in an area that I've never really explored before. And I'm like, I want to go check it out, see what else is around town. The next one I have is seeing live music, which I haven't done in quite a while. But
Mm.
there are some venues nearby. And I also know of a series of outdoor concerts that happen locally that every year I say I want to go to. And every year, like it's something that only happens in the summertime. And every year I never make it to one. So I just need to like pick one and put it in the calendar. and they'll be like, I'm doing this because at the end of the summer, I want to feel really connected to, my town, my environment. And then the one I just added was getting ice cream from the ice cream man.
It's a good one.
Because there is an ice cream man that, without fail, comes down my street every day. Me and my husband have been going on little after dinner walks every night, and we see him every time, and we're like, should we just? And you know what? We should. I think we should get some ice cream from the ice cream man.
Yes.
And that's 4. I'm trying to think if I have one more. Can you think of any other fun ones for connected? I mean, I did say hosting dinner with friends, but maybe like getting coffee with a friend.
Yeah, maybe like intentionally going out to meet a friend, maybe at that new coffee shop, like you had mentioned.
Yes.
Because my next word is also connected, because I really want to connect with people. My husband and I have talked about numerous times hosting a game night, and we have games upon games upon games. So we have so many games. We love games. Every time we go to Target, we probably pick up a new game. It's bad. But we are like, this will be so fun with such and such. We should invite these people over. We should do this, blah, blah, have a taco night, blah, blah. So I think, he literally just mentioned it today. He was like, would you want to host this summer? Like, do you want to have our game night? Like, finally, like, let's do it. So I think that is definitely something, because we love games, and we like fun, and that's definitely something we think we want to do. I said also being connected to my community as well, more so like go to my farmer's market, which I did last weekend. There's an arts and crafts fair that comes to my town every year that blocks off the entire street, and all these vendors come who make beautiful things. And I haven't been to that fair in years, so making time for that. I have day dates with my hubby. What does that mean? We just go to a cafe and get breakfast. Like even today, we tried out. I've never had it before. Tim Hortons for a quick breakfast.
I didn't even know you had one around you. That's so funny.
We have one random one. It's very random. But we were like, let's give it a try. It was after my doctor's appointment, and I always get a little like, I won't say woozy, but get needles and things like make me very scared. So after that, we were like, let's just get a little fun breakfast. Also, let's get some food in my system, blah, blah, blah. So like, let's go try Tim Hortons. Like little spontaneous fun things like that. I think a little fun dates like that. And another one I have is calling up friends to connect. I think that I have talked to you before about how I will associate people with work and leave them there. So there are people that I truly connected with at old jobs, and I feel like this is a summer where I can feel like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Do you want to go grab coffee? Or hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Do you want to come over and have a yap session? I don't know, like anything, just to really connect with people. I know some people got engaged recently. People who do have little babies and things that are often sometimes afraid to bring the baby out, so I'll come to them. Like, just reaching out. So I think that's really things to make me connected this summer.
I love all of those. Yes, I am continuing to steal more from your list and add it to mine. I'm just going to have a really long list, which is perfectly fine. Because I'm really only trying to think of, because my next word is fulfilled. And I feel like with fulfilled, I can immediately connect to some of the more larger, heavier goals. Like I immediately think of some things that I want to achieve now that I just completed this big goal of buying this house. I'm thinking of things I want to do in the fall that also feel like quite large, but I don't want to connect this season to that. Does that make sense? I know I'm being very vague.
No, I get you.
But so I'm now trying to think of some fun things, because this is sort of going to act as spoiler alert, sort of going to be like our summer dopamine menu, tying into our last episode. We're just like, again, it's like we plan these things. We're just like piggybacking off our last episode. But yeah, I'm trying to sort of make this as my own little summer dopamine menu that, I could either take things from this list and physically put them on my calendar, Or on days that I do have some free time, I could just like go back and reference the list and be like, what's something I want to do? So that way I can forward this feeling of connectedness, of being grounded, of being fulfilled throughout my entire summer.
Yes. Yes. The first thing that comes to mind for you is maybe doing something crafty, not necessarily for the house, but for you, for your soul, like knitting, crocheting, drawing, coloring, something.
Girl, the first thing I have written down is working on fun crafts.
I knew it.
So we are on the same page. I feel like I haven't been on my crochet grind as much. However, summer, I feel like I really start popping off with the crocheting, and I have a whole Pinterest board full of things that I want to crochet. So I think getting back into that would make me feel very fulfilled. Reading new books is another one I have on here. Last year, I had a specific number of books that I wanted to read throughout the year, and I did meet that goal. And I did on my Goodreads sort of put a number for the year that I honestly don't think at this rate I'm going to hit, but I'm okay with that in the sense of like really taking the time to read books that I'm actually interested in. And I have a couple in mind that I'd really like to read this summer. I also put doing a fitness challenge on here because I think you saying you did the challenge. Kettlebell challenge is inspiring me in that regard. Maybe doing some sort of physical activity that pushes me a little bit more so I can feel proud of myself. Yeah. Right now, those are the three that I have for fulfilled. I'm going to keep thinking on it. I feel like that is a difficult word to summarize without attaching it to like really heavy things, you know?
Are there heavy things that you're thinking about right now in the summer that would make you feel fulfilled specifically?
Well, I wouldn't say heavy, but I'm trying to avoid like anything working on the house. I feel like that would make me feel fulfilled. Like some more like painting my kitchen, painting my bathroom. I want to like tear up some carpet. But I guess I could put that on like the fun side of things. Maybe like, ooh, you know what? Maybe like thrifting and refinishing some furniture. Me and my mom have also talked about going to some antique markets in the area. Maybe like going antiquing and specifically finding fun decor for the house. So I'm like refreshing it.
I mean, I'm sure Jess will probably like never post a house tour or anything for you guys. So just imagine, please. Um, the
You
Raney
might,
household has so much character already. From the trips you guys have gone on to the things you guys collect, and I'm just excited because now that you have free range, you know what I mean? You can really do what you want to do in there. The the house is going to become its own entity of a Rainy family member. It's going to be Tim, Jess, the cats, the house.
yes, that's very much it. I'm ready to dig my claws into it because I've said before, we lived here for 6 years. There's so many things in this house that we are just like itching to change. And I'm actually starting this weekend. It's happening. I'm getting the paintbrushes out. It's starting. And also, as much as I love my office, like it's very cute in here, this very much doesn't reflect what the rest of the house looks like. Um, I don't know. Maybe if you follow me on Instagram, I'll share some fun little sneak peeks throughout the summer. Um, but yes, I very much want the feeling of the house to remain the same, like very cozy, very filled with like memories. We both me and my husband love like a vintage vibe. Very much want to like impart that in the house, but just like level it up, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So, but I'm also trying to be realistic and think what are things I can physically do in the summer? Because a lot of the plans that we have probably won't happen for years, you know? So I'm like, what can I sort of do this summer to make it feel fresh and new? And that's how I'll sort of feel fulfilled, you know?
Yes. Maybe like also, yeah, attaching your fulfillment to all of these renovations and things too quickly could then leave you feeling, what's the word? I guess like I don't want you to let yourself down if you don't get to it, right? Because you don't want your fulfillment to be dependent on those things. So yes, going antiquing with your mom, like little things here and there that you can do to bring that feeling in, but not too big of a huge project that you're attaching that emotion to, that you could end up disappointed.
Exactly. Because obviously, I'm not going to be able to single-handedly, well, with the help of my husband, redo my entire house in the matter of weeks. That is simply not going to happen. But yes, what are some things that I could start to do to sort of impart that this new chapter, this new season, and make me really feel like looking back at the end of the summer, this was the summer we bought our house. This was the summer we started to really make it feel like home, you know?
Yes, yeah. Not the summer that you know, got overzealous and tried to do too many home projects and you accidentally ended up doing something that you don't like and you're like, ugh, ugh, you know, slow and steady.
Not the summer that I burned out and then didn't look at the paint swatch that's been sitting in my bathroom since, God knows how long.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Um, okay, so my last word or words that I kind of put together was adventurous and spontaneous this summer. And I think I had mentioned this last episode that my husband is getting into sports. Never too late, people. So we definitely wanted to go to some sporting events this summer. We're thinking of a baseball game or something along those lines. We feel like that if we start going to these kinds of events, it could connect us to new people and open us up to meeting new people. Because we are best friends, my husband and I, so we will do everything together, and that will be it. But we're both trying to branch out and expand our horizons, and we think that doing something along the lines of something that we don't necessarily connect to or have connected to in the past will really change our mindset. So we already talked about it. We want to go to a sporting event this summer. um Spontaneous for me is it may not sound spontaneous, but when you had mentioned reading, I'm trying to really get back into reading. And just being like, if I'm sitting around bored, really just picking up a book and taking that time to read. And that also takes me out of the mind frame of, in this hour or two that I'm spending time reading, I have to be doing something productive. No, that's just my time to relax and let my imagination roam. And so I'm trying to very much read more. I started reading manga. And I started reading a couple different mangas that my husband got me excited about, and I started reading them on my break at work. But usually at work, I'm like, okay, I got to do this. I got to email this person. I got to do this. No, we're gonna read more. I'm excited to get into it. I have a couple books sitting on my shelf too that I want to crack open this summer. Like, they have been calling me, so we will be reading. Another spontaneous thing is take a day trip, whether that's going to the beach with my girl, because my girl is a beach girl, and me and the beach don't always get along, but I want to really just open myself up to creating new memories and experiences around the beach. I think I attach like old memories to the beach and maybe what I used to feel, whether it was like a family trip or things like that, where I was like uncomfortable and didn't love what I was wearing, or it was hot or something. No, we're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna have a good time. So some day trips with my girl. You guys talking about antiquing and stuff like that. May need to hit y'all up and hit up Mama P and be like, yo, can I tag along, please?
Yes. That would be so fun.
I would love that. I really want to get back into baking. Um, I loved to bake growing up. It's just that my kitchen is very small, but I want to make the best of what I got and just try some recipes out and baking some fun stuff, and even making them a little healthier than I would in the past, since I'm really focusing on my health right now. And my last thing is getting a new hairstyle.
Yes. We were talking about this right before we hit record. I'm so excited for the little hair glow up of the summer.
Yes, and I was looking at all of our thumbnails from all of our episodes. You can see how short my hair was when we first started out. I was practically bald. You could like see my scalp on the side of my head. And now I'm wearing a headband because my hair is so long. It's actually pulled back, but it's so big right now. And for me, this is a lot of hair for me personally. But I'm letting it grow out, and I'm thinking about getting a new style this summer. So stay tuned for that.
Our thumbnails might be looking a little different later this summer, but you can pull off any hairstyle, girl. You kidding me? You had like the Holly Berry, like the nice close shave, I think, when we first started out. And now I really love the little headband. As soon as you popped it, I was like, you look so cute. I love your little long curls. So, but yeah,
Thank you.
this is very long for my girl. But I think it's going to be so fun. Love
When the
little.
hair accessories start coming into play, you know some things are going on. Like me with the hair accessory isn't always something, but the fact that I had to put a headband on today lets you know that we are committing to a change. So
Yes, girl. And I love how your spontaneous list very much reflects that childlike wonder that we were discussing. Because you're like, oh, I used to love this and I used to love that. And I really want to get back into it. I also want to get into reading some manga. So you're going to have to share the titles that you're loving, because I'm trying to sort of re-spark that love of reading. And I also have been reading some, not manga, but comic books. But I was like, maybe that's something that I can sort of get into, because that still counts as reading, y'all.
it does. It really does. And it just also like puts me in a whole other world, especially manga. And I think that my husband and I talk about this is not to like poo poo on American storytellers, because there are some amazing ones, but something about Japanese storytelling, the way that they come up with new concepts and ideas. When we watch anime, we're like, how did they think of this? There's so many new ideas going on over there, where I feel like a lot of things in American culture is being recycled, and it feels very much the same. So I gotta like venture out to other cultures to kind of see what they're talking about. And I feel like Japanese storytelling really just ventures out to a part of the brain and new things that I think are incredible, and that gets me all wrapped up in that. So I'm really excited to see where these different manga stories take me.
Yes. Oh, I say that all the time. I mean, we both could talk about how much we love Japan forever. But yeah, no, I love this list. I'm feeling really good about it. And I'm feeling really good about, like I said, I sort of spoiled it, but turning it into sort of a little dopamine menu for the summer edition. Maybe taking some of these things that I identified, like specific events that are happening, specific concerts, um, specific farmers markets, art shows, doing a little research, putting them in my calendar, and then be like, all right, that's my plan. And I also love how neither of us really mentioned traveling the whole time. That you can have fun right in your own backyard.
Yeah, no big extravagant trip. Um, yeah, I do have my work trip, but like I said, that's for work and it's something I have to do. But like, I don't need to go to a resort this summer or go to the mountains or do it. Write my own town, the fun events, fairs, uh, markets, things like that. You know, just seeing my girl, checking out a local cafe. We're also saving money too, so it's like we're being very conscious of that.
Yes, we got goals to continue on with. And I love a trip. I love a vacation. Okay. If you're having a summer filled with escapades and flying here, there, and everywhere, good for you, girl. I'm happy for you. But that simply is not the summer. That's not my personal words for the end of the summer this year. And I feel very much okay with that.
There was this tweet that I saw, it was a couple years ago, about this girl who had paid her rent, and she was like, "I just paid my rent for the month, and I will be enjoying that purchase for the rest of the week."
Yes. Heavy on that. Let's enjoy our rent. But yeah, no. I'm feeling good about this list. And then it gets me very excited to sort of continue to curate and put some of this into action. Maybe make a little Pinterest board, make a little mood board, actually plugging some things away in my planner and my calendar. And yeah, I think at the end of the summer we're gonna feel these words.
And the last thing I'll add too is that because we are being intentional and have these words on our mind, when somebody presents us with an opportunity to do something, we can now see if it aligns and connects with these feelings that we wanted to feel, these words that we're connected to, and be intentional whether or not to say yes or no to it. And that's okay. You know, like, oh, maybe I won't do that this time because, you know, that's not going to make me feel connected, or that's not going to bring me the joy. That's not going to make me feel grounded this summer. So I'll pass on that this time. Or being open to something new, being like, oh, I haven't thought about that. Maybe I'll give that a try because that connects to this feeling that I want to feel this summer. So who knows?
I feel heavy on that. I think that is an excellent point because you could say yes and you can also say no. Both are valid responses. You know, it's what you want to do with your time.
Yes.
I think we're going to make the most of it. So yeah,
well,
that was really all the notes I had on planning the summer in reverse. And now I'm feeling just ready to take it on. It's still raining outside, but I'm like, let's go. Where's that sunshine?
Exactly. But I think this is a great way to kick off the summer. Like we had said, Memorial Day just passed. So it's time to get excited for what's coming. And now I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. And we want to hear from you guys. Have you guys tried this method? What kind of feelings do you want to feel this summer? And how are you going to bring them about? So don't be afraid to hit us up. We would love to hear from y'all.
Yes. We want to hear your little summer dopamine menus. If you've ever heard of this sort of method or sort of thought about this sort of method, how you sort of have planned the summers in the past and how you want to do it now. And yeah, just give us your thoughts, give us your feelings. Let's have a conversation on it. While you're at it, be sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube and ring the little notification bell so that you can be notified every time we have something go live. Give us a follow on Instagram at Plan With Us Pod so you can see our favorite clips from all the episodes. It's where you can get the most up-to-date announcements from us. And yeah, thanks so much for being around.
And we'll see you guys next time. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great summer.